Okay, guys, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. Venividivici here. I'm going to bring you another game from the PK tournament. This is going to be H2O versus Owata. I just missed the first game, unfortunately. I came like 1 minute too late or so. They played an Iroquois mirror on the Great Plains, and it was won by H2O. I believe it was rather close, till the end, that is, of course. So H2O is now going to play Ottomans, and Owata is going to stick to his Iroquois, and we have a second game coming up on Saturday. H2O was a little bit worried that everything was going okay because of course, he's from the United States, I'm from Europe, and the other guys are from Japan. So I hope it won't be laggy, or at least not too laggy. Of course, playing from 3 continents is always probably a minimal delay. Anyway, let's see how this turns out. Second map. So far it looks pretty balanced, as we see here. Both have 2 coin mines, one close and one relatively close. The one for H2O is in top. I hope he can scout it though, because it might be something that you can miss out easily. Both start with a livestock pen, it's the free building. That means that indeed the Iroquois is starting with a farm that is considered their livestock pen for them. Of course, they can also use it as a farm, like European civilizations have mills, so it's a small advantage for them later on. Regarding hunts, we see that H2O has one over there, and the third one he has to fight for. The one from Owata is a little bit closer. And of course this will probably still be hard because Iroquois can be more aggressive early on with the warhead. And that means they can take map control. So we have to see if he's gonna make his warhead like somewhere over here, or maybe even somewhere over here, and try to hurt H2O's third hunt towards his warhead. For example, also protecting the sea, and that way kind of denying H2O from that hunt. So both are taking a trading post. Pretty standard. We see that Owata is going to grab the first one. H2O is going to get the second one. That means H2O will get the first XP because Owata finished it too slow, as you see over here. This one is going to be finished on time, and that means that you get your first XP earlier. He's also right away going to take the 100 wood treasure. We have to see though if Owata is going to go the same way or where he's going to scout. He's going the other way, so that's okay for H2O. Then he can gather it safely. Oh, he's not even going to go for it right away. He just picked off one of the bears and come back again later, I assume. We have some sheep still on his side of the map. Of course, as you know, you can task the sheep on the livestock pen here, so that will be 300 food later on, around the 7:30 minute mark, I believe. So it's pretty important to get enough sheep for your food later on. So what can we expect here? Iroquois is probably going to start with an aggressive warhead, or semi-aggressive, because Ottomans, of course, still strike strong civilization. Ottoman is likely to go for Abyss Gun and Janissaries because a fast fortress is too risky versus Iroquois, because they can just rush you and probably siege your base, and not so you won't be able to get any resources. Janissary rush, of course, makes not much sense because they have Aenas and a pretty strong defense. And any other combination, maybe you can mix in some hussars later on in the colonial age, but usually they just start off with Abyss Guns and Janissary. If you micro it pretty well, then you can do a lot of damage with it. And of course, as we all know, H2O has a very good micro. He picked up the 100 wood. He chose to scout a little bit more for the sheep here, and then came back for this 100 wood. Owata is going to get a 90 food. That is going to be very nice for him, of course, because he can make an even a stronger rush with that. There are 2 more sheep for H2O. And Owata, maybe he's going for a really hard rush because he's also gathering food from his sheep already. Of course, you can choose to go for this instead of letting them fatten on your livestock pen or farm. Sheep also are fast income for food, so it means if you gather that now, you will get a lot of food very fast, and that means you can age up even earlier if you want to. Or indeed have a stronger rush because you have more food available early on. He is already, Owata is sieging the trading post of H2O. And H2O probably didn't know yet which trading post Owata took. Maybe he was trying to go here to build the second trading post here, because he was probably thinking that Owata would go for the first trading post. Anyway, he can't do that for sure now, and both of them, not both, but Owata already aged. There we have the Travar coming up. Can't see it where it's being built, of course, but of course, Longhouse for some line of sight, and he's already bringing in his hunt. H2O, of course, hasn't scouted this yet. He went to the trading post, and then he went back here to get some sheeps. So he knows only about this hunt and mine, and probably this mine, but he hasn't scouted this part. On the other hand, on Saguenay, if you're not too much map screwed, you can expect to have one hunt in the top, and usually one gold mine as well. It's quite close here because it was almost out of the map. And we see that here, because of the trading post, there was no hunt spawning here, but then again he has another hunt on this part of the map. Anyway, Warhead being positioned right next to the trading post, of course, good defense, and as you will probably see later, he will be able to bring in this hunt there as well. He's already working with the native clubman Nutka that he worked on, that he rescued before, working on the trading post to get it down. Of course, if you deny the Ottomans from getting XP, it's a pretty big factor, because Ottomans rely a lot on XP because they need their shipments, that is their resource crates, to spam this Abyss Gun Janissary stuff. He has gonna ship 700 coin, as you see here, and that's all very standard to make the foundry, and I mean to produce the Janissaries and Abyss Guns. Rescuing 2 more sheep, so here H2O now has 2, 4, 6, 7 sheep, so that's quite a lot of food later on. And of course Owata used all his sheep already. We have 1 hyena popping out, that's interesting. Let me give you some sound, by the way. So it's not that of an all-out rush as you might have expected with the sheep and all. And he also shipped for 5 villages. I believe they were not coming from his town center, let's see. Yes, 5 villages already. 2 trading posts, of course, so he is definitely not going for a rush. But we see now that H2O is gonna push out. He has 5 Abyss Guns and 5 Janissaries. He also, of course, knows that there were not that many units out from Owata because he scouted it, and he also, of course, saw that Owata was taking 2 trading posts so early. That means that he knows he definitely has a chance of doing some damage right now. He has to be very careful because, of course, Owata has some units out, and he has defensive warhead, and he can pop out any army shipment at the moment. So he has to be careful in not overcommitting there. He is going around. He might be trying to get a second trading post of Owata. Of course, it would be a better position for him to fight over here. He has to be very careful though, because as you see, Kanyas are on the way from Owata. And he has to make sure he doesn't get trapped here. He managed to kill off the Nutka clubman, so his trading post will live a little bit longer. 2 more Janissaries and 5 more Abyss Guns. Abyss Guns are really key here. You just need enough, like a small amount of Janissaries to protect them well, but Abyss Gun is what's going to do the most damage here. As you see, 40 siege damage, even 20 siege damage still versus cavalry, and of course, because cavalry have range resistance. In fact, no unit has siege resistance, so it will be 20 plain damage to them. He is going to attack the trading post here of Owata. That means Owata will have to respond. Let's see what he's gonna go for the trading post of H2O instead of defending his own trading post. Actually, interesting choice, but I think it's a good choice because it's worse for H2O if he loses his trading post and Owata loses his, and then he has still 1 left, than the other way around. We see that Janissaries immediately popped in melee mode. Look at the quick reaction time. Always keeping an eye on the minimap, of course. You can expect that from pro players like them. And there we have the 600 coin shipment as well. By now he has 2 sheep finished, so this will be a good moment for him to task his sheep because he's also almost running out of hunts there. Of course, Owata has scouted this, but H2O is not going for that yet. And look at this is like almost a 2k food available anytime soon, and there he's gonna go for it. And now we see a pretty nice mass of Abyss Guns and Janissaries here. And this is gonna get a quite strong army, because when you get to such a big mass, you really need Kenyas to deal with it. And we see that Owata has now made up a stable. So he's definitely going to be able to mass some more Kanyas. And then it really comes down in this matchup to the micro. If you micro correctly, you can use the range and abuse affect the range of your Abyss Guns because they have 18 range. They outrange any unit from the Iroquois, at least in the second age. And you can just run your way back by killing off like a lot of units with your Abyss Guns. And if the cavalry is coming really close, then you can put your Janissaries in melee mode to deal with them. And even only at the last moment that's really needed, because before that you can usually just better let them shoot instead of melee mode, because you will make sure you do the most damage, most efficient damage all the time. Because of course the other guy is gonna micro his Kanyas back as well. There we now have 5 8 Kanyas and a lot of hyenas. Of course, the Iroquois guy is not gonna make that many tomahawks because it's not needed at this point, because he scouted as well, and also quite sure that H2O is going for a lot of Absgans and Janissaries and no Hussars yet. He might ship 3 Hussars later on, of course, and maybe even at a stable, although this is probably the best composition to stick to, and of course making a stable also requires 200 wood. He is, however, going for it. But like I was saying, if the other guy is only making cavalry and hyenas, then Mexican Hussars is definitely gonna be an advantage for you, because then he has to use his Kanyas to block your Hussars instead of tasking the Kanyas on your Abus guns. And that means that you can micro even better versus it. Like I said before, a 3-unit composition army is oftentimes pretty good, able to beat a 2-unit composition army if both micro correctly. H2O, by the way, here also managed to rescue a Coureur de Bois, now being here tasked on his mine. And of course, doing some scouting, because he definitely want to know what's going on the Iroquois side. Are there tomahawks out yet? If so, how many? How many hyenas do I see? How many Kanyas do I see? Because again, on a high-level game like this, usually both players, but especially H2O here, is able to tell what kind of BO the other guy is doing based on the amount of units that he sees. If you play this game, you know that it is important to have a good BO, it's important to scout, it's important to micro. But if you play a high-level game, the BO and micro are really important, because that's what makes them the difference. Because both guys know their BO, the build order they do, but the tiny difference that you can opt to go for example, 5 villages first instead of 600 wood, stuff like that. That's really what's gonna make the difference. And if the other guy is not able to scout it out, you might surprise him by changing it up a little bit. So that's why scouting is very important. Anyway, what you see now is such a huge match, and I believe that Owata at this point should not be so far out on the map. Look how many Hussars he made. This is really crazy. I think H2O made like 2 times Hussar batches, and he also shipped 3 Hussars, I believe. So he has now a huge mass of Hussars, and this is really a surprise for Owata, because he didn't scout as much as H2O did, and he was way too far out on the map in my opinion. You see now that the Kanyas have to block the Hussars, and you see that Janissaries are going to be tasking the Kanyas as well. Tomahawk's going to brought in, should be put in melee mode right away, but this is probably going to be game over right here, because it's going to be close if you're going to hit no more Kanyas popping out. But there are so many Abus guns in the back still doing damage, he's completely going to kill off this army. And the Hussars, look at this, 320 HP, they do such a good job just blocking off the Kanyas, and of course H2O in the start managed to take out the Iroquois hero almost right away, and therefore make sure that there was no more boost to this army, and that means that the units die even faster versus these Abus guns. What you see here is he's gonna charge in, attack move, and then walk like a little bit past them and attack move again. That way he will ensure that he will get a better surface area instead of just one clicking a unit and then all the Hussars going like in a vertical line instead of attacking them in a horizontal line. So some additional good micro there. And now he lost his warhead pretty fast. He's probably trying to go for a raid here, but that is also already gonna lose 1 Kanya, and they're just gonna tap out. Good game. And I think the major mistake is that Iroquois can do something early if you rush or like semi-rush, because you have a lot of units out, or you have to go for the really long late game and give up this warhead if the Ottoman has such a big army, and just make enough Kanyas and hyenas, and of course scout better, because the switch from Hussars to the switch from H2O to Hussars was really good here. But if you are not rushing like he was doing now, then this is way too early to be so far on H2O's map, because you can expect the other guy, especially since he didn't age yet, to have a huge army of at least Abus guns and Janissaries, or maybe mixed in some Hussars, and that's why you shouldn't be out on the map. You should definitely scout to what you can expect, and also just be back and mass a lot more, because your economy is better than the Ottoman economy. So if you can just hold it out, you will eventually be able to overwhelm the Ottoman army, or at least you should. Also, of course, waiting for your cards in the second age to boost up your army even more. With the 2 or 3 cards depending on the deck they have available. So well played by H2O there. And of course keep in mind, Saguenay, H2O captured found like 7 sheep, and at the point that they were fully fed, and that's 2100 resources in food. So he also had the option to ship 700 wood earlier. I saw it, I looked at it near his town center, but I didn't point it out yet. And he also, of course, shipped the 3 hussars, and that effect is a huge boost to the Ottomans in this case. Owata did go for the sheeps early on. That's why I was thinking that maybe a rush should come in. But anyway, he didn't go for it, and he just wanted to go for some more economy. But I think that his timing was definitely off, and he another H2O vendor. I think his timing was definitely off, and he should have at least scouted before he was going so far out on the map on H2O side. Especially if you play like versus the best or one of the best players in this tournament for sure. So that makes it 2-0 for H2O now. And then we go into the third game of this BO5. We are in the round of 32, by the way. And don't do the arrows. Oh yeah. And the third map is then going to be Siberia. Of course, we all know that H2O still has a very good Japanese as well. From his WCG back in the days, 2008 I believe, where he won the World Cup, World Championship by playing a perfect Japanese style there. I do think, by the way, that Owata can play a little bit better than he did. I believe the first game, the Iroquois mirror, was relatively close and it came down a lot to micro. But he definitely did a little bit of a misstep in the last game. Of course, it's not easy to play versus such a good player. That also means that maybe he's a little bit nervous. And of course, playing versus someone really good often forces you in a way to make mistakes that you otherwise wouldn't make. But he can definitely do a little bit better than that, I feel. So I'm excited for this next game. It's going to be a French mirror played on Siberia. Very balanced map, I like it a lot. It does benefit the defensive civilizations a little bit more, but since it's a mirror here, that doesn't make much of a difference. And of course, both start with a tower. Let's take a look at the map. We see that Owata starts with a tower in the back and protecting his gold mine here. And H2O also, so that's exactly balanced as well. Of course, if the other guy would start with a tower in front, I would give him the advantage, because usually you come charging in from the front, and then it means you have a tower and a town center attacking any units on this side here of the town center. While the other guy has it only in the back. That means that as soon as units come like in this range over here, then the tower is able to attack them, and before it can't. So, French mirror. On this map, that means usually we see the kind of meta game from now is that French are going for a 700 wood build. I believe it was kind of developed by H2O and Samwise in that tournament back in the days, 2 years ago or something on the fan patch. Anyway, 700 wood that you will make a stable and racks right away. But on this map, of course, being the map being so far, the distance between the two players, and having the tower as an extra defensive building, it's also very, very likely that they go for some kind of semi-fast fortress with some hussar rates. However, what we see here is Owata going for a trading post. H2O opted to go for a market, as you see there. I went over this a couple of times in my previous videos. The market is very standard for French. It gives you an economic boost also during age up, and you basically age up at the same time. I do like the trading post play a lot. I did a couple of times myself. It's really, really... it gives a lot of different options. For example, you can still go for some kind of rush and have access to more shipments than the other guy, and you can still make your market in the second age. I mean, while aging up to the second age. And that means that you're not that far behind on economy, because you can pretty fast make a market with these French villages. But you do get a lot more shipments, and that can prove to be very, very nice in a rush. Or going for a semi-fast fortress, then have access to more shipments in the third age compared to your opponent. So we'll see how H2O will respond to this. He picked up 90 wood. That's of course a very nice response already. If he's, he might even go for a trading post himself when he's aging up. Then it would be kind of the other way around. He has a little bit of a more economic boost, and at the trading post later. And Owata has a little bit more of an XP boost. So that means one more shipment for sure, and having some more economy a little bit later. If that's the case, I do like Owata's position a little bit more, because the trading post should not be underestimated. I think it should be used a lot more than we see it these days. It's so good, not just as Ottomans or Iroquois, but as every civilization effect. Especially, of course, in the mirror, because you need to find every small detail that you can come out ahead on. So everything matters. So far, of course, we're not playing Iroquois, so I have to wait a little bit longer before these guys will age. It's French, so it will take 20 more seconds before we see villagers moving from food to wood and stuff like that. And H2O is gonna pick up another 40 wood here. So if we take a look at treasures, we see that definitely H2O comes out ahead here. He got a lot more. Owata has managed to take a treasure that shows him all the treasures on the map. However, since H2O already picked a lot of these nice treasures, it doesn't matter that much if you pick it up that late. He still has 110 wood available here. I'm not sure why he doesn't go for it. He is going for a second trading post, I believe. Look how many villages he has on wood. No market yet, or wait, we have to see how this turns out. H2O scouted this now already, also, so that means he will probably gonna go there afterwards. And there he's gonna grab another trading post. He had 90 wood and 80 wood, that's 170 wood already. And gathering a little bit, because of course he's aging up, means that he can also get his trading post up now. I'm not sure if this was his original plan, or just because Owata takes trading post. Anyway, I think it's a very good way, and especially here because of this map, you have a little bit more time, and of course, with the wood treasures that he has, why not invest it? It's better to invest your wood and just wait for it. Anyway, he managed to take it right on time and have the XP there. Owata has now 2 trading posts up in a bit, so he will get this one on time as well. And there we have Owata aging up before H2O. Of course, if we take a look at the post game here, I say of course, but I expected Owata to have his 3 villages a little bit earlier than H2O. I think just a little by little bit, but in fact you see it's the same. Why is that? Well, first of all, this villager from H2O was faster. That means, of course, you get the XP faster as well. Also, H2O built a market that also gives you XP. So I think that kind of neglected the small advantage that Owata had. Or maybe he just missed out on his first XP. I didn't catch on that. Anyway, that's still the same. You see now a market coming up and 700 wood first. He's probably going to use his 700 wood also to upgrade the trading post, I assume. And this treasure is still not being taken by anyone yet. Of course, scouting at this stage is more important than the treasure because you need to know what your opponent is doing, so you can adapt to it accordingly. We have some idle vills there, not something we see from H2O a lot. Corrected immediately, and there the stable is coming up from him as well. Okay, Owata aged with 12 villagers instead of 14. Because he had a trading post. Anyway, he is going to go for the 110 wood, but so far I believe he hasn't scouted H2O's base a lot. He was kind of busy with building trading posts, and then he went this side to scout treasures and his map side for resources. So he has not really an idea of what H2O is doing. He's probably expecting some standard kind of play. We have here Owata now picking up the 110 wood, very nice. And of course H2O scout here is there invisible, and that makes me wonder where Owata scout is currently placed on the map. Maybe he lost it to his maybe he lost it, not sure. Anyway, 5 stars popping out from H2O. He went for the he's probably going to go for some kind of semi if I see this. 1 stable, that means he has 4 villages for a shipment. 4 villages for a shipment. Owata, of course, first had 700 wood, but he aged earlier, and then now he also has his 4 villages shipment. So you see that his trading post gave him a huge advantage in the shipments that he has, because he basically is 1 shipment ahead already of H2O. H2O now gonna take this 175 coin here with his the use of his hussars, and there he's gonna get the raid of Owata instead of raiding himself. You see that he shipped 700 coin, so he's definitely gonna go for a 3rd age here. He has no 700 wood yet. He might still go for it during his age up to get a better setup ready, to add a Rex, add some houses, because you definitely need a Rex in the 3rd age to fight your opponent. But he might also get the wood. We have to see what he will go for. There we have Owata after 4 villages also shipping 700 coin. He will be a little bit late on that, but that's of course because he used 700 wood already. And did he upgrade the trading post? Yes, he did. Of course H2O does benefit from it. The upgrade is 200 wood and 200 food. Of course Owata has 2 trading posts, but H2O benefits from it as well with his just 1 trading post. So H2O now coming in for a raid himself, and Owata lost 1 cavalry there in his raid. Now of course he has a defensive advantage with the town center and the tower, so H2O sees that he can't do much damage. Of course we see a lot of players on let's say a little bit lower level just trying to charge in anyway. It is debatable, because if you play versus a good player you won't kill off any villagers, you will only delay him a little bit. But he will be able to put his villagers in his town center before you kill him really off, and that means that you will lose a lot of HP with your hussars because you're attacked by town center, hero and other stuff. So H2O just preferred here to save his hussars. Oh, there is the scout of Owata, by the way. It's finally going out on the map. H2O preferred to save his hussar HP instead of trying to delay him a little bit. So both aging up now. Aged up effect, sorry. And there we have 700 wood as expected from H2O. The thing is, you do have a trading post, so you do have access to the shipments that you need in the third age, like the skirmishers and dragoons and cannons. But if you don't use 700 wood, you have to get a lot of wood to get your right setup. And because he now has 700 wood shipped, also because of the trading post, you can add a Rex, you can add a few more houses, and that's definitely what you need to pump out a lot of units. And of course both skirmishers and dragoons, because that's what's probably going to be the main combination for both players here in this third game. Dragoons first being made here. Of course he saw that H2O a little bit more cavalry, so it's quite good here to make dragoons and try to snipe off any hussars that you can get. But look at this position from the scout. It's really well positioned by H2O. This scout was first somewhere here on the map, by the way. He noticed that he's gonna attack the trading post now, and that means that he will want to know everything that comes his way, and most direct path from Owata's base to him is via this path here. So very nice position of a scout there. He made 5 dragoons, and I believe he also shipped 5 dragoons. Owata shipped 1k coin. That is interesting to me, but he definitely has to go back now, because otherwise he's going to lose his dragoons. And H2O is going to be able to take out 1 trading post of Owata. I'm not sure what Owata is planning here. He might go for some weird strategy, just because he knows beating H2O is very rough. Anyway, we have 12 pikemen shipment here. I don't like it that much, to be honest, because if you're micro decent with your dragoons and skirmishers, you often can just micro versus the Swiss pikemen. I don't like them that much. Anyway, we have to see a little bit of a raid going on from Owata on this side. He managed to kill 1 skirmisher, and he's not going to get a second because his cavalry is going to be taken out. You see as H2O made a few skirmishers there. And Owata did find the scout of H2O, but he did not take it out, and that means that H2O can still put it in stealth mode again. Owata is gonna go again for this trading post. Very interesting, because he's probably gonna lose it anyway. There he gets a nice 45 XP, and this is interesting to me because you just saw that your opponent has the much better army, so it's kind of a waste to go for this right now, I would say. Anyway, he's not gonna get it, as you see over there. And what will he make then? He is still making dragoons, so it's not gonna be some kind of 4th age thing, so it's probably gonna be then the pikemans. But although he does have a couple of 4th age cards, so maybe he is going for the 4th age. Interesting. Let's see what H2O's deck look like. No 1k coin, I don't like it actually. I prefer to have 1k coin instead of the faster coin gathering, because at some point in the French mirror, if you have still access to 1k coin and the other guy has not, you are able to, for example, just make a little bit more of the cuirassiers or dragoons and usually get the upper hand in the mirror, I would say. Anyway, he doesn't like it. I see we now have Midnight popping out, H2O pushing in. Of course, with the army that he has, you have to push in and see what you can do, because you don't want to give the other guy like some kind of weird advantage, as that's what's happening here. He's going to the 4th age. Of course, only 1 trading post left, and there we see the cannons are going to get past all the skirmishers. And dragoons should try to take out the cannons. We don't see that yet. He is now trying to focus with the hussars, as you see here. While of course Owata is trying to micro his dragoons on the hussars. Not the best micro from the cannons, as you see they wasted 2 shots on killing the hussars and dragoons rather than skirmishers. Now he's finally going to task with skirmishers. And H2O finally tasking with dragoons to take it out there. Sorry for the sound guys. And there we have quite a strong army from H2O now in the base of Owata. So what can Owata do at this point? He still has 1 trading post left. Of course he can keep making some more dragoons and ship the 2 big cannons, as you saw. Or he can ship the 6 cuirassier from the 4th age card. He is losing a couple of villages here. I don't like it why he sent it back so late. Also, these villages are unpicked as well. There we have more dragoons. That was the 8 dragoons card, I believe. It's interesting to ship 8 dragoons in this case. But he might not feel comfortable enough to ship the crochet because there was, and he probably didn't feel comfortable enough to ship the 2 heavy cannons because he might think HO was going to make some crochets or something. Anyway, he has a lot of dragoons still, and of course he also has the option, if he managed to get the resources, to upgrade the dragoons to guard dragoons, and that would be very hard to deal with even if you have a lot of skirmishers. But it's not yet, it's not there yet so far. He is trying to micro as best as he can versus the dragoons, while of course trying to keep out of range of the skirmisher. And there we have 2 cannons popping out, very nice. They do a lot of damage, and now we see that the dragoons are gonna be test on the cannons, but I think they're gonna get in melee mode, yes, as we see over there. He's gonna put them in melee mode, they will do better damage versus cannons there, because cannons don't have range resistance but don't have melee resistance. And the cannon is not able to take out that much. A little bit of a waste there in my opinion. They took out some skirmishers and dragoons, of course, because meanwhile all the dragoons were still shooting. But the fact that HO took out these cannons with relative ease is definitely better for him. He's now just going to use his dragoons for his skirmishers. Usually skirmishers, of course, counter dragoons, but if you have such a big mass, dragoons still have pretty decent attack. And then you can just micro like he's doing now. Walk close to skirmishers, so you try to make it hard for him to attack you, because skirmishers have to use their range damage and not their melee damage, because it just sucks. And you see that he is able to clean up this army. Of course, the 5 dragoons from HO were a little bit idle over there, not being used on time, I believe. But now we have new dragoons coming in from HO, and that means that he will definitely be able to take this fight. This hero, by the way, does have 1 crack shot available to take out... okay. Oh, sorry, I thought it was upgraded. He does have 1 crack shot available in the 4th age to take out 1 dragoon with 1 shot. I didn't think he used it yet. But he definitely can do so later on. Also, of course, if you can take out a crochet with that, worth 300 resources, that's going to be very useful. So, interesting strategy here. We have a little bit of a standoff at the moment, because, of course, H2O is just massing. I think that's the best option for him so far. He is then going to take the 2nd trading post. Okay, I missed this. Sorry, guys. He used his 2 cannons here to take out the 3rd trading post. I mean, the only trading post left from Owata. And that means that, of course, Owata still... invested in upgrading the trading post line, but now HO has 2 trading posts and probably soon a 3rd. He's gonna pull his cannons back there, as you see, and he tried to raid a little bit here on the crochet, on the coeur de bois, but not successful because the dragoons were there on time. So factory coming up now, not upgraded yet, as you see here. Definitely gonna be a huge economic boost there for Owata. He doesn't have 10 villages in his deck in the 4th age. That's also a huge economic boost. Unfortunately, he doesn't have it, but anyway, of course, he doesn't have a trading post anymore also, so this is... I think this is still a position from that I like more from HO. As we see now, the score difference is 30, and he should not be fighting a lot of these skirmishes with the dragoons now. He definitely needs to pop out. Maybe he's going to do so. Of course, he used the factory now, but I think he needs to pop out his 6 crochet to be able to battle this. But the problem is that H2O, of course, expecting this, probably also took a look at the deck. He's massing just a lot of dragoons, and even if you have 6 crochets, then with the micro of a decent player and of course the micro of H2O, you are not gonna kill these skirmishes with just 6 crochets. So yeah, we have to see what Owata is gonna do from here, because it's not an easy position. Also, he has only 1 stable. He doesn't even have a Rex, so it's not like he can really pump out a lot of skirmishes to battle H2O's mass. And also his scout is on this side of the map. I would rather have it like somewhere here to see if you can raid or see armies coming, or somewhere here even. Cannon's gonna be brought up now. I think H2O wants to go in for more of a final push probably. He definitely knows he has the upper hand, 40 more score advantage, and of course a lot of dragoons and skirmishes, so still not upgraded this yet. Of course he's probably low on resource anyway, and this is gonna be very unfortunate because H2O is going for the main, for actually not the main base, because that's over here, but he's going for the main gather point from Owata, and that means that not only he's probably going to get a village in here, but also it means that all these villages, which were like 15 villages, are not going to gather any resources for like the next 2 minutes. He is going to be able to take out the 2 cannons, but that was actually more of how you say that, of a delay from H2O, just kind of distracting the army of Owata, so that he is able to take out this tower, and he's definitely going to do so. And there you see that he's going to use his skirmishes very nice already, because he of course knows the dragoons are coming. So skirmishers don't have the best siege attack, you might as well already target it on the dragoons. And there you see that the tower barely lived, but the army advantage from H2O is just massive. And there you have 8 cuirassiers popping out. He is gonna use his dragoons and cuirassier in his cour de bois as best on the skirmishers on the dragoons as he can. But look at this, so many dragoons still to target on the cuirassiers, and not the best pathing either by these cuirassiers. They're all like bumping into each other, he's not giving them the best targets. On the other hand, very good micro of H2O, even bringing the skirmishers to the back and letting the dragoons take some of the damage because they have so much HP, 270 as we see over here. And even a 1000 coming up from H2O, but he already won the game by now, so that is a good game over there. Interesting from Owata to go for the 4th age. Well played by H2O, attacked at the right time, kept pressure at the right time. However, I do think that I do like the strategy from Owata, going for 2 trading posts and catching up with economy a little bit later. I think though that if he would have just gone for a normal H3 fight with the 2 trading posts that he had, I think it would have been a lot better for him, because he would be able to defend both his trading posts, so he had the advantage there. And of course then you have a lot more shipments, so that means that you will also have an advantage in pumping out some skirmishers doing damage and of course fighting the other guy's army then. So yeah, I would have preferred to see that from him. Anyway, that means it's a 3-0 victory from H2O. I expected it to be a little bit closer, to be honest, but yeah, of course it's H2O, so it's never easy to fight him. And there you see, by the way, how the economy looked. So far it looked okay, but at this point he was pressured. He lost his trading post here, and he also got pressured in the end here near his villages. And there you see like the line just flattening instead of going up, and that means that even if H2O keep trading units, it's in his advantage because he has just a lot more economy behind it, so he can make new units from it, while Owata just isn't gathering any more resources. So advantage for H2O if he just keeps trading units there. So good game. That's a 3-0 victory for H2O, and that means that H2O is going to continue as expected to the round of 16, because this was a round of 32 game, and that concludes it for this match. So guys, there is another match coming up shortly. Let me just give you my my schedule for now, because I couldn't post it on the forums on PK Clan because it doesn't seem right to post in recorded games or something. I asked Chicks to make a post, but that's not the case yet. So the schedule will look like this.